Hello everyone, welcome to Let Me Cook Some Maths channel. Today we'll be looking at a speed question, and speed questions are usually a little complicated, so let's take a look at this one. At 8 a.m., Patrick and John traveled from town A to town B at constant speeds. They traveled along the same route. Patrick traveled at 25 kilometers per hour faster than John. When Patrick reached the midpoint between town A and town B, John was 30 kilometers away from the midpoint. At what time did Patrick reach town B? Now, to better illustrate this question, I'm going to draw a little diagram here. So it's always good to have something to label all of the notes that all of the information has been given. So let that be town A and this will be town B. And for Patrick and John, so this will be Patrick going in this direction, and John also going from A in the same direction at the same time, but they are traveling at different speeds. All right, and this all happened at 8 a.m. Okay, so there is this midpoint here. So midpoint, which also means the halfway mark between A and B, towns A and B. So let me put the midpoint right here. Okay, this will be the midpoint, the middle point. Now, the most important information here is that Patrick traveled at 25 kilometers per hour faster than John. What does this mean? That means that every hour, so for every 1 hour, Patrick is going to be increasing the distance between him and John by 25 kilometers. So for 1 hour, they will be 25 kilometers apart. And if it's 2 hours, they will be 50 kilometers apart, and so on. So this is the difference in their speeds causing the difference in their distances. All right, this is the difference in speeds, okay, their respective speeds. Now, when Patrick reached the midpoint, so when Patrick is here, okay, at this midpoint, John is 30 kilometers away from the midpoint, and John is definitely behind, okay, because John is the slower one, okay. So that distance between John and Peter is 30 kilometers. Now the question you should ask yourself is, how did their gap become 30 kilometers? So earlier we mentioned that 1 hour would give them a 25 kilometers gap, which means if I try to get the 30 kilometers, the time taken to get a 30 kilometers gap, so all of these are the gaps in their distances, I can bring it down to 5 kilometers, which also means that I am dividing by 5 on this side. Okay, you can ignore the 2 hours. And if we divide by 5 on this side, we're going to get 0.2 hours, or 1/5 of an hour. And then for me to get the time taken for them to have a 30 kilometers gap, I just have to multiply by 6 and I will get 1.2 hours. This is the time taken for them to be at their respective points when P is at the midpoint and John is 30 kilometers away. This is the time taken, okay, for this to happen. Which also means for P to reach town B, that will take him another 1.2 hours, isn't it? Because he's already at the midpoint in 1.2 hours. Okay, this is for P. He took 1.2 hours to reach the midpoint. Because he's not changing his speed, he's traveling at a constant speed, he will take another 1.2 hour to reach town B. So the total time taken for P to reach town B, total time taken for Patrick P to reach town B, that will be 1.2 hours multiplied by 2, and that is 2.4 hours. The question is asking for the exact time that Patrick reached town B. So let me do a conversion. So 2.4 hours will be 2 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, how do we do this conversion? Now, 0.4 hours, let me do it here, is nothing but 4 over 10, which is what 0.4 is, or 2/5 of 60 minutes. Okay, you have to multiply by 60 minutes. So you can cancel the 10 out here and you get 24 minutes. All right, this conversion is really important. Please do not think that 2.4 hours means 2 hours and 40 minutes, which a lot of students do make this mistake. So if we want to know what time would that be, from 8 a.m. if we add 2 hours and 24 minutes, you can also draw a timeline for this, you will get the answer 10:24 a.m. Okay, depending on whether they want it in the 12-hour or 24-hour notation, they will usually mention. I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, so that's it. So the most important thing here is about the gap. Thank you everyone. If you like this video, if you find this useful, do subscribe and like the video. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.